policies and where it stands on key international law issues. The District of Columbia Bar Association and the American Society of International Law host this event with the State Department legal advisor, Harold Koh. It's an hour and a half.
I think we want to get started. It's wonderful that you're all here. We're all very excited. This is a very special event to have Harold Koh here and to have John Bellinger here and have the two of them together so we can discuss the Obama administration's forward-looking goals on international law and foreign policy and have the reflections from the prior administration as well. This event is co-sponsored, as you know, by the D.C. Bar International Law Section as well as the Administrative Law Section, together with the American Society of International Law. And Arnold and Porter is thrilled to be hosting this. I'm lucky enough to be affiliated with all three of those groups. And I do want to let the president of the American Society of International Law, who is here today with us, say a few words about the society for anyone who is not familiar with the society. It's just a wonderful organization, and I think you probably don't need to know as much about the D.C. Bar, but we definitely encourage you to join the International Law Section if you're not already a member of that section. So I'm going to have Lucy Reed, the president of the American Society of International Law, come up just briefly, give you a few words on society.
Thank you. Thank you, Nancy. Welcome to everyone here on behalf of the American Society of International Law as a co-sponsor of a most significant program. I want to thank the D.C. Bar as the co-sponsor. This is one of several projects on which we collaborate with the D.C. Bar, a really valuable partner in international law programs. And special thanks to Nancy and to Arnold and Porter for hosting today and for the firm support of the Society throughout the year. I will not go into any detail about the American Society other than to mention to you all that our annual meeting is coming up. It's the premier world event for gathering of international lawyers. Well over 1,000 international lawyers will be here in D.C. from March 24th to 27th. And the meeting this year is convened on the theme of international law in a time of change. So the program of the meeting will reflect throughout the issues that you have come here today to hear about, the Obama administration, international law and policy, and all kinds of international law and policy. And in fact, Harold Koh will be a keynoter at the meeting, so I assume, Harold, that you're already drafting busily to keep people interested there. And there will be an alumni, Legal Advisor's Office alumni reception, also sponsored by Arnold and Porter, and dozens and dozens of other relevant programs for people who are here. So if you want to stay in this debate and you are not, unfortunately, already a member of the American Society, please do join. We have our literature outside. You can meet with Betsy Anderson, our executive director, or go to ASIL.org, and I see many government and former government attorneys here, and I want you all to know that we have a new interest group just started for government attorneys in international law, so I urge you to join that as well. Now back, Nancy, for the introductions.
Thank you, Lucy. And our firm, Arnold and Porter, is thrilled to be a partner with the American Society of International Law in many respects. So, and John is very active in that regard. Well, I don't think you really need much introduction, but these two gentlemen have such impressive backgrounds that I want to some detail because you may not sort of have gone through all their impressive accomplishments recently in any event. As you know, Harold Koh is legal advisor to the Department of State, and he's one of the country's leading experts in public and private international law, national security, and in particular human rights. He's serving in the Obama administration on leave from Yale Law School, where he teaches international law, and he also was the dean from 2004 to 2009. This is not Mr. Koh's first service in government. From 1998 to 2001, he was Assistant Secretary of State for Democracy, Human Rights, and Labor. And he previously served as the Secretary of State's advisor on the Secretary of State's Advisory Committee on Public International Law. He's a Marshall Scholar and a graduate of Harvard, Oxford, and Harvard Law School. And he has received as many as 11 honorary degrees and more than 30 awards for his human rights work, including awards from Columbia Law School and the American Bar Association for his achievements in international law in particular. He clerked for Judge Malcolm Richard Wilkie of the D.C. Circuit, and then for Supreme Court Justice Harry Blackmun. He also then served as attorney advisor at the Office of Legal Counsel of the Department of Justice, and as a Yale law professor since 1985. He has not only taught courses, but also he has authored or co-authored 8 books, published more than 170 articles, testified before Congress, and litigated numerous cases involving international law. So it's hard to imagine someone with a more impressive background. However, we have a close rival here in terms of achievements, and that is John Bellinger, who Arnold and Porter is so lucky now to have as a partner here. He's in our national security practice, and he leads our international law practice. And I've had the delight of working with John on several projects, and I really look forward to many more. He was, as you know, the legal advisor for the Department of State from April of 2005 to January of 2009. And prior to that, he was former Secretary of State Rice's, served on the confirmation process and the State Department's transition team between the administrations. He has a long career, actually, in government. Before that, he was legal advisor to the National Security Council at the White House under Condoleezza Rice, who was then National Security Advisor. That was, his service there was for a 4-year period from 2001 to 2005. Before that, he was at the Criminal Division of the Justice Department in the Clinton administration under Eric Holder from 1997 to 2001, and he was also counsel to the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence. John's a graduate of Princeton's Woodrow Wilson School of Public and International Affairs, so he's got the full range of public policy and international law right from the educational background. And he has a master's in foreign affairs also from the University of Virginia, in addition to his law degree from Harvard Law School. Right now, John is an adjunct senior fellow in international law at the Council on Foreign Relations, which many of you may be involved in, and he's directing a project on international justice there. So I think we have 2 very eminent gentlemen to hear from, and without further ado, I'll let you hear from Harold Koh. We will have a question and answer session after they speak. This is being taped by C-SPAN, and so we would ask that you not ask your questions until you have a microphone, and then you say your name and state your affiliation.